What's up? Here's a real question. Now, I used to own a couple solid brass Leicas back in the film days. I got them cheap when I worked at Beach Photo and Video. I think I got one of them at... Didn't I get one of them at A1A Photo? That was worn by a Greek family. I loved working for them. I love the Greeks. I remember the family that owned that. George and Melitza Paspalakas. I'll never forget them. The son ran the camera store, and we had a dark room and a studio in the back, and I would print out the pictures, and they're out of business now anyway, it doesn't matter. Every time someone would bring in nudie prints, his commandment to me was if he wasn't around that I was going to make double prints, and I'd give like the second set to him, and so like back in the day, if you dropped in any sort of risque pictures, you can guarantee the people that worked there were making double prints, just about. Do Leica and Hasselblad even mean anything anymore? And the answer is no, they don't mean anything anymore. Leica lenses, yeah, still great stuff. Not as good as they used to be, however. Leica now is, they put their name on certain point-and-shoot cameras and their lenses, and Zeiss has done the same thing. I mean, Zeiss, lens improvements over the past 30 years, things really have not actually that improved much, and almost, except for ultra-wides, and I made a video about this already. The only thing that's really improved, and Zeiss ultra-wides are horrible, by the way. Nikon's ultra-wides are incredible. Nikon blows everybody away on their ultra-wides. Everybody. Nobody touches Nikon on their ultra-wides. They're 20mm, they're 24, they're fisheye lens. Nikon's got everybody blowing out of the water on their ultra-wides. Other than Leica lenses, you see, this is, even if money is no object, this is the camera that people own. Now, they're going to have a replacement for this out in April of next year. It's going to be called the X100F. This is the X100T. Leaf shutter, built-in ND filter. I've been asked a bunch of times, it's like, why on earth? And, anybody that owns this will tell you that the autofocus on this thing it's even slower than the XT1. If it's continuous autofocus tracking, forget about it. Now, it's certainly much worse an optical viewfinder than it is an electronic viewfinder for tracking. But that's not what it's for. I mean, these are not sports action. These are street, candid stuff. This is the camera that I absolutely love with all my heart. The leaf shutter on it's incredible. The lens in it is absolutely incredible. Some of the best pictures, I've shown pictures that like Bill Gekas took with the X100T. They're like some of the best pictures that people say they've ever seen. It's like, why would you own this thing as opposed to the XT2? This thing is slow. It's not that slow. It's far superior to Leica. Do Leica and Hasselblad mean anything anymore? Then the answer is no. Other than Leica lenses, the answer is absolutely not. The electronics, everything is Chinese and Japanese, and someone thought I was disparaging Japan when I said that. It's like, no, I'm not disparaging Japan. I'm doing just the opposite, for God's sakes. There's an old saying that Americans would invent it, or the Germans would invent it, or the Americans, either one, and the Japanese would miniaturize it. That's pretty true, actually. Not that the Japanese don't invent things. It's just kind of a general funny statement. Leica and Hasselblad, they don't mean anything anymore. They're only names. They used to mean everything in the world, and back in the days of film, their name not only meant something, people knew it meant something. It carried weight. Literally, it carried weight. And it was a camera that you'd want to sleep with. It's so awesome. And people still shoot with those old brass-bodied film cameras. And for good reason. I mean, that is the pinnacle. That's the days of film. The days of digital? No. No. Inside that, Leica does not make the circuit boards in that camera. Leica does not make the sensor in that camera. The only thing that Leica makes, and I don't even know if they outsource it, is the magnesium chassis or the slip-on cover and that little emblem, the little red emblem that they glue on it. Nothing in there is there. The lens elements, fine. Removable lenses, fine. However, I'd actually rather use a Voigtlander lens on a Leica than a Leica lens on a Leica now. The Voigtlander lenses for Leica are better than the Leica lenses are. So those are Japanese. Leica does not mean anything anymore. And, well, that's going to make some Leica fanboys really upset. But I'm sorry, Leica used to mean something. It does not mean anything anymore. Neither does Hasselblad. Who is a Hasselblad medium format? Everybody kept talked about the new Fuji GFX medium format camera. People have had their hands on it today. They've been handling it at Photokina. But I'm 100% certain I know it'll be cheaper than the Hasselblad. I know it'll be made better than the Hasselblad. I know it'll be a superior camera to the Hasselblad medium format. Hasselblad does not mean anything anymore. That name now is absolutely meaningless. I remember, when the boss wasn't there, picking up and messing with this gold-plated Hasselblad, and we had all these Hasselblads come through, and that was the shiznits. I mean, you had a Hasselblad, you were rocking it, and that, it meant something. It carried weight. It does not mean anything anymore. It means zero. It doesn't mean anything anymore. What is the new standard? What is the new standard? And the people that actually used to love Leica or still shoot film Leica, and when they went to digital, this is the camera they own. I mean, we're not talking about, oh, the Leica costs a bunch more money, you can't afford it. No, it's none of that. You can afford the Leica. I'm just not going to buy the damn thing. It's not as reliable, it's not as good, it's not as many features. There's no way it's stepping to the Fuji X100T. It's just not. I don't give a damn what sort of fanboy you are or are not. Leica's digital cameras are absolutely meaningless. Even if you go on the Leica fanboy pages, you'll talk about unreliability, the breaking down, just horribly expensive, bad customer service. No and no. So you want me to pay like 20 times more for something that has a Sony sensor in it and a Japanese circuit board? You mean, is that really what you want me to say? Oh, well, it says Leica on the outside of it. That means, what the hell does that mean? It doesn't mean a damn thing. I don't make this video lightly, but I'm saying flat out that other than Leica lenses, which is a different category, but even those are not as good as they used to be. Leica and Hasselblad carry no weight anymore. None. Except for their film cameras. If you're still a film shooter, that stuff is the shiznits. I used to own that stuff. I know how good it is. I know how well that stuff is made. Okay? And we're not even talking about that. We're talking about Hasselblad and Leica today. What they're spitting out today. And they carry no weight anymore. They are totally flying in the air on a hope and a prayer, based entirely underneath a parachute made out of their name. Leica, oh, it's a Leica. Oh my God, it's a Hasselblad. It doesn't mean anything anymore. It's meaningless. It has absolutely no weight anyway. The people that know, now it still has weight to people that still you get Google-eyed at that name. Ooh, it's a Leica. The people that are smart, they know it doesn't mean anything because they know what that camera is. They know what's inside of it. They know its failure rate. They know its customer service. They know there's a Sony sensor in there. They know there's a Japanese circuit board in there. The people that are actually smart, they know better. So yeah, those two names do carry weight, but they only carry weight to people that don't know any better. Is that a bold statement? It is. It's also factual. You could hate on it all you want. I don't give a damn. But those names don't mean anything anymore. They don't. If Leica tomorrow, next year, something rolls out, which they never are, going to roll out something like this, I'll stand up and pay attention. But no, nobody sees that happening, and it's not going to happen. They've been diminished to a really, really small company. They outsource everything that's inside of there, and they have somebody stamp the casing or the magnesium chassis, and they put their little logo on there. They're surviving on their name only. It's kind of like a slave or a prisoner that's surviving by bread and water only, It used to be... I think I made my point. People can hate on this video all they want, but the people that know better and that have a brain, they know I'm exactly right. The people that don't, they can spit all the fanboy hate that they want, but they're wrong. Thanks. Bye.